Well, hello guys, welcome back. So we have been trying to do stuff and come up with inspiration today. So Loki and I took a break. We took a Pop-Tart break. Those are important. And we're watching They Live, a clip of it, right? And I'm like, hey, I love this film. This film scared the shit out of me as a little girl. And I said, it's one of those films where this points to how crazy people can get and, everything else. And don't you know, I hope it was a bunch of people joking, but it was like the whole fucking QAnon Fruit Loop conspiracy people like found this and they think it's real and they think it's a documentary and I'm like, Jesus Christ, please tell me this is edgelords being funny. These people aren't this fucking stupid, are they? This is visual effects makeup. You don't really think that there are reptile people running around that have big googly eyes, do you? Oh my god, yeah, you do. And the funny thing was, I just read a thing yesterday, read an article on, there are people that make ARGs, and they said, they have figured out that QAnon is an ARG, but they haven't figured out what the fuck the end game is, because usually ARGs, you play them in the real world and you meet other players at times and you work together and collaborate and usually you're cracking codes or solving puzzles or something and usually they are creepy as fuck. Let's admit it. But this is an ARG that somebody is playing out for like unknown reasons. And the thing is, the people playing are taking it seriously. And it's like, you realize that's an ARG, right? That this cabal doesn't exist, right? They found the people that will take one of these seriously. I always told Loki, I always was like, these ARGs are a bad idea because, there have been tales, I don't know if it's true or not, of people calling the cops on people running some of these because they were just so convincing. And, I said, one of these days, some Fruit Loop is going to go too far and something's going to happen. I'm like, well, there you go. That's where QAnon came from. An ARG got out of hand. And I don't know if the people that started it just don't know how to stop it now, like it's a runaway train or what it is. But the game maker has to step forward at this point and go, hey guys, we were playing a game, right? Like, none of this shit's real. People eating babies? This is bullshit, right? The guy got to step forward at this point, but I don't think he's going to. I think, it's picked up so much steam and he realizes how much jail time he would do because he's created, this lunatic fringe. I don't think he wants to step forward. It's almost as ferocious as the Beanie Baby cult was. Almost as ferocious. If we could just get the Beanie Baby cult to come back. Look, he's like, oh, fuck yes. If we could just get the Beanie Baby cult to come back at the height of its power and turn it on QAnon, tell them they said something mean about Ty, I would fucking stomp on them and rip their innards out and make little Beanie Baby booties out. Oh my god, most of you aren't old enough to have lived through it. It was fucking intense. I'm just as bad as everybody else. I still have a lot of Beanie Babies. It was fucking crazy. It was a straight up cult. That cult would make QAnon look laughable. These people might be doing stuff like, you know, going out in the real world and doing stuff. Beanie Baby cult would make that look laughable. It was fucking intense. It was a cult of cults. It was the cultiest cult to ever cult. And they were these little plush beanies. And people have lived through it, know what I'm talking about. There were all these stories of like people were so addicted to this stuff. People thought there was like straight up drugs in the fabric or something. It hit a touchstone. It hit a time. It hit, and all the other manufacturers were saying they couldn't believe why this stuff took off because basically they were underfilled plushies. I actually have one on hand, but you've seen a Beanie Baby, you know what the hell they look like. They were underfilled plushies, and most people were saying, these are carny level plushies. They're underfilled. They're junk. Why would you want these? These fucking things caught on fire. They did. And people were paying outrageous prices for it. There was a Beanie Baby market. People were buying Beanie Babies to invest in their future. And then, like every other market, the bottom fell out of it. And now most of them are pretty worthless. And I say pretty worthless. You might be able to still get, for nostalgia's sake, 25 or $50 out of some of them. But, we were talking about Beanie Babies going for thousands of dollars, some of them. And it was crazy. And it was definitely the cult of cults. One second, these damn allergies. Sorry, guys. But yeah, we need to get the Beanie Baby cultists. Sorry about that. We need to get the Beanie Baby cultists come back and just stomp the ever-loving shit out of QAnon. It's what we need to do because they would too. They would have no mercy. Just tell them that QAnon is between them and the hottest Beanie Baby ever. Like tell them one of the original Beanie Babies is somewhere. They will kill them. They will literally kill them and wear their innards and be dancing around the street. Then we'll have a new group of crazies to deal with. But as long as you keep them supplied with Beanie Babies, they'll be okay. And younger people are like, no, people never got that crazy. There were horror stories of people running up to children in wheelchairs and grabbing Beanie Babies off of them and saying, you don't need that, I do. People, their animal instincts came out over these fucking things. You would think their child's college education was riding on it, and indeed, a lot of people did spend their child's college money to invest in beanies, and there were beanie brokers. And I'm not fucking kidding you. Look at shit up. And it brought out people's evil side. It brought out people's nasty side. These people would kill QAnon. They would. I'm hoping the Beanie Baby brokers just like come out of their, protective covering. And those boxes they might be sealed up in, those acrylic boxes we all bought because they could protect something for 200 years. Yeah. Yeah, it was an expensive hobby. You not only bought the beanie for like say $5, but then you had to go buy an acrylic box because you didn't want your investment to decay. You also had to buy a tag protector and you had to buy all this other shit. It was intense. People were buying gloves so they wouldn't actually touch it and get the oils from their hands on it. It was intense. People would expect a beanie like, a Ming vase. They'd be looking at the eyes, they'd be looking at the stitching, they'd be looking at the color. How's the fabric going? You would think you were watching a damn like Antiques Roadshow when people went over Beanie Babies. And the point is, Loki's like all cults, at the rise and height of their power, you think they'll be around forever. You thought the Beanie Baby fandom would be around forever, and then poof, the bottom fell out of the market. So even though QAnon seems crazy right now, the bottom will fall out of their market too. It's a market. Even though it's an ARG, it's a market too. It's a market in crazy ideas. And once the bottom falls out of that market, once reality comes back and they truly realize that none of this stuff is true and they were all playing a ARG that got way out of hand, they won't know QAnon. They won't know Q. They won't know any of this stuff. And I'm like, why the fuck he have to pick a name of like the only decent Star Trek character ever? Like why? Excuse me, we've been at this quite a while. So, it was again, yeah, back here. So it's one of those things where it's just I know it seems crazy right now, guys, but there have been crazier cults in the past, and there have been more intense cults in the past. You just think this is more frightening because we have the incident in Washington, and that was terrible, but there have been, if you would look up Beanie Babies and you would look up the crowds and the mobs and how people were following UPS trucks and that was a hell of a lot scarier. If you were part of the cult, and I was for a time, it seemed like totally normal behavior. It did. It seemed like totally normal behavior to follow UPS trucks to Hallmark stores and stare at them or follow whoever you thought was, delivering the Beanie Babies. It was totally normal behavior. And women would have phone lines, and it was like a sting operation. They would follow these, follow these trucks, and they would know delivery dates, and they would know all this other stuff. So humans have the capacity to go crazy over shit, but it goes down. It goes down eventually. It goes down. The Beanie Baby cult didn't last that long, even though it seemed like it did. And once you got out of it, you were like, wow, we were pretty fucking crazy. We used to follow delivery vans around and we used to get these magazines and oh wow, I got a bunch of these plush beanbags around my house and I don't got no money, shit. And you got out of it, and most people had yard sales and got rid of all of them, and some people didn't. I held on to a lot. And now what I've been doing is the few I've kept, because they're pretty much worthless, cut the tags off, and like they're part of my home because Kamari method. And it's crazy doesn't. Crazy doesn't. These people will just wake up one day and kind of start stepping back from the cult. They're kind of going to be in that stage where they're still kind of in it and they're stepping out. And then they'll be like, oh, ARG, I get it. It was a game, and we took it way too fucking seriously. And the game master, I don't know why they're not stepping forward at this point and going, "Holy fuck, guys, this is just a game. It's not real." I don't know why. This is like somebody playing an ARG but playing it like it's real life, and that's not ethical. There are ethics to ARGs. You don't actually want people to get hurt. You don't want people to get hurt. You don't want to promote violence or promote crime. There are ethics to these games. They can seem scary and they can be based in this kind of scary world, but it's clear they're a game, and most people know they're playing a game. You can wonder if you have a really good game master if it's a game or not. They can get pretty damn spooky, but at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, this is a game. So I don't know. There have been some legendary ARGs out there that make you wonder, but um, it's just an ARG that got out of hand, guys. QAnon is crazy as fuck, but it's just an ARG that got out of hand. I don't know why the game master hasn't come forward and said, guys, it's a fucking game. Calm down. If they're playing one for realsies, it's not cool because that's unethical because they're using the things that make ARG funds, the thing that make video games fun and feeling like you're accomplishing something and you're finding out secret knowledge and all this. That's why we like video games. That's why we like ARGs. So if they're doing that for real and using it to manipulate people, that's highly unethical. That's highly unethical. So, Lucky was like, let's talk about that because we've been wanting to talk about QAnon crazies for a while. Just to be clear, they're full of fucking shit. They're batshit crazy. It's an ARG. It's one that someone's taken way too fucking far, but it's a game. It's not reality. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.